What's up, all my critically thinking bipedal hominid brothers and sisters? How you doing? Thought I'd chime in on a little bit. This might be new to some of the people that have subscribed to me. If you look back through some of my old vids, you'll see that this subject I'm about to talk about is a hot button issue, and has been for probably most of my life. Let me talk a little bit about religion today, and for my Christian brothers and sisters, don't get defensive. Don't fret. I'm not going to attack you or paint you with a broad paintbrush. I realize that there are differences in all individuals, regardless of the denomination or the belief system that you hold. However, I have spent the last few years of my life actively debating and talking religion and theology with many Christians and other religious individuals. So I've heard all the arguments, for and against, and everything in between. So what I wanted to kind of talk about was really was more about maybe there's a misunderstanding, I think, in some, and I think I think that the misunderstanding is also, it's probably on both sides, but I have to bring it from a non-religious side. I think it's a misunderstanding about what's disagreeing and what's being divisive. So, because I've seen a lot of videos and I've heard a lot of comments, seen a lot of comments about this, everybody people piling on End Times Watchmen and hating on him and such. Now, the fact is, End Times Watchman is a fundamentalist Christian, an old school, Old Testament fundamentalist Christian. He quotes scriptures. I mean, he's talking Deuteronomy, Leviticus, Numbers. You name the book from Old Testament, I'm sure he's probably quoted from it at one time or another. Now, he made a two-part video recently, called My God and Me. I think that's what it was called. And in it, he made a mention. If you watch part one, he mentions he saw in the comment section that somebody said he was a closet evangelist. That was me that made that comment. And, to clarify what that comment meant was, in his earlier vids, many of his earlier vids, he made a point not to mask or hide his faith or his belief, but he made a point to not make it a focal point. I mean, a couple of times he had said, "No, I don't mean to get too religious on you." I mean, he'd said that a couple of times. And as time progressed, he started to put a lot more of his faith and belief and more of his kind of proselytizing style into his videos. Now, that's fine. That's his prerogative if he'd like to do that. But keep in mind that this is YouTube. This is a public forum. And if you're going to put your face in a video and state an opinion about what you believe a certain way, you better be prepared to have people disagree with you. And that's where I think there seems to be this muddying of the waters. People seem to think that because they're disagreeing with End Times Watchman's position on some things, that they're being divisive. And that's not the case. Okay? I don't think it's causing division or rifts. I think that sometimes you have someone that has an opinion and you have someone else that challenges them, and people are going to take from both of those what they will. And they're going to agree with one person more, they're going to agree with another person more. Doesn't mean that they're on opposite sides of the fence, okay? It's much of it has to do with the delivery in which End Times Watchman delivers some of his more recent videos. And that's fine. Like I said, he can proselytize all he wants. But coming, from an individual, from an atheist, I consider myself to be an atheist, from a non-religious person, who doesn't think within the parameters of a doctrine or a belief system, then you have to be prepared for someone to challenge your viewpoint on that. Okay? Now, I've heard him say, it says, the Bible's the Word of God. I'm just telling you the Word of God. I've heard him say, in the Bible it says, man should not lie with other men. Homosexuality is a sin. I've heard him say that if you're not right with God, you're going to burn. Okay? I've heard him say, basically, I'm paraphrasing, that if you're not with God, you're against. Or you might as well be on the side of the enemy. If you're not on our side or on the side of good and what's right, you might as well be on the side of the enemy. Okay? Well, I hate to say it, people, but I'm not on the side of God. And it's not because I hate God. It's not because I defy God. It's not because I deny God. It's because I don't believe a God exists. I can't hate, defy, or deny something that doesn't exist. Okay? Now that's just me talking. That's my perspective. Okay? So, for someone from a non-religious standpoint to hear someone say, if you're not with God, you might as well be with the enemy, it's a little unnerving. It's a little disconcerting. Okay? So you can see where some people might take issue with that. Okay? And then that just opens the floodgates. Because when you've got someone who is so committed to their belief system and that they believe, as End Times Watchman does, that the Bible is the little Word of God, this collection of writings from various men put together to be the literal Word of God, you have to expect that that's going to open the floodgates for a whole set of a whole plethora of disagreements. Okay, that doesn't mean it's divisive. It doesn't mean because I disagree with him and his beliefs and his doctrine and I challenge that I'm somehow causing a rift or a divide in the truth movement. That's silly. It's silly. Okay? And I'm not going to get into arguments about for and against God and the substantiation of the Bible and all of that stuff. I'm not going to get into those. I'm happy to get into those at another time with you if you'd like, because I'm very well prepared for that. But it's not necessary in this video. What I'm trying to get at, or what I'm trying to focus on, is the fact that there needs to be a little more maybe understanding between what's disagreement and what's division. Okay? Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you're hating on them. You disagree with them. Just because you challenge their position or their opinion doesn't mean you hate on them. Okay? How many of you, when you read Bernanke's speech to the CFR, and I mean there was a ton of stuff in there you could disagree with, but how many of you, when you read that and I'm paraphrasing, that basically how we got where we did in this economic crisis is still under hot debate? How many people went, what the fuck are you talking about? We know how we got here. You know how we got here, you criminal liar. So just because you can disagree with someone and not hate or be be trying to make people think of them in a certain light. Okay? So that's kind of what I wanted to say about that whole issue. As always, feel free to comment. Feel free to make a video response. Give me your thoughts and opinions. You're not going to get any censoring or any pending approval here. You can put what you want down there and I'll respond. So, peace.